The Singer Simple 3337 states that it has a one-step buttonhole. So what does that actually mean? So first off, there is a buttonhole foot that comes with the machine. When you take your button and put it into this foot, I'll show you how to do it. The machine can actually see how long the button is and actually make the buttonhole to that length. Now, a lot of times people don't think that buttonholes are necessary or needed if they're not doing garment sewing. But if you look around, I bet you'll find buttonholes on a lot more things than you realize. Anything that needs to kind of wrap around something, a buttonhole could be that little place that is the opening for the hook. Tops of shower curtains, drawstring bags or drawstring pants. You could put 2 buttonholes at the front of pants for drawstrings. Those are a great way to secure those items. Okay, so first off, with the buttonhole foot, you will need to look for the bar you're going to attach to the machine, and notice that it's actually in the front, and this sticks out the back. So while you hold the front, take your hand and on the left side, push hard until you hear that click open. It's a little stiff when you first get the foot. The more you use it, it might loosen up a little bit. But you're going to take your button and put it in that opening and close it up. So see how it's holding it into position? Next, take your foot. We're sliding the foot towards us, not down, and replace it with the buttonhole foot. Push towards the back. Now, just because the foot is on doesn't mean you're ready just yet. The last thing you need to actually do is there's a lever behind your needle threader that is for the buttonhole. Make sure you pull it all the way down until it's down near the foot. I was able to kind of stop and it wasn't down all the way. So down all the way, and then it says push. Push. Okay, so push means that it has been set. So when this foot starts its buttonhole, there's a little lever that will actually pop this forward when it reaches the length of the button. So kind of cool. It's kind of neat to watch as it goes. So next you're going to select your buttonhole stitch, and then right here between 0 and 1 is also a picture of a buttonhole. That stitch length we'll probably need to practice and just double check what's going to look the best. We're going to start in the middle. Now the last thing I like to do is actually adjust my tension right up here. Go from 4 to 3. That will just make for a really pretty satin stitch as those stitches are now pulled more to the back of the fabric for a prettier top look. So when you are ready to stitch, you're going to notice that the buttonhole is going to start here and go away from us and then back to where we started. So just if your first one you're doing, you start right on the edge of your fabric, no, you're going to run out of room. So first buttonhole, I always tell my students, just do it right in the middle of the fabric. Now right now for the first one, you will notice that your thread coming out of the needle is on top of the foot, and that's okay. Let's just go ahead and start with that on the top. Once you've done one buttonhole, that thread will be underneath the foot. If you want, you could actually thread it down the hole and under the foot, but you're going to see, I'm going to just hold on to it for the first couple stitches. Lower the presser foot down on the fabric and start to stitch. Now the only thing is, let's just see what it's going to do. It does the tack at the bottom and then heads up to the top. I'm going to lengthen the stitch length just a little bit. I can tell I'm a little close. I want it a little longer just for starters. As it goes up to the top, then you're going to see this push. Did you see it? And it clicks and starts the tack at the top and then starts traveling down the right side of the buttonhole. Now the only thing you're in charge of is stopping the sewing machine when it gets back to where it started. So it's not an electronic machine, so it doesn't know where we started. So once that foot really comes back to where it can't go any further, you're there. So I'm going to just stop and we're going to bring our needle up and take this out, and I want to see my first buttonhole. Now I did change the stitch length in the middle here, so let's see where I'm actually looking at. Oh, how fun. Okay, so I can see that one side's a little bit thicker than the other. Now if I do want to do a second buttonhole, remember each time you start you must push, push, and hear that little click. So let's just go ahead, I'll shorten the stitch length just a little bit, let it do its thing. Stop it when it's done. Oh, I'm there. Okay, a couple extra stitches if you want a little locking. Oh, look at that buttonhole. So with a little practice, don't forget to put some stabilizer under your fabric. That can be tear away, cut away, iron on interfacing. Right now I just have another piece of fabric, but definitely work to practice getting everything lined up in the right order and how perfect it turns out for the size of button you've actually placed in the foot.